Do you recall the show Little House on the Prairie? People just couldn't get enough of that program between 1974 and 1983. Even though viewers may recall each show vividly, there were unscripted events taking place all the time. There is another side to the program that fans may be unaware of, including uncut scenes, celebrity controversies, and hidden truths. Therefore, come with us as we examine the raw footage from Little House on the Prairie. Little House on the Prairie, which was adapted from the novels by Laura Ingalls Wilder, had over 200 episodes spread over 9 seasons and was a major hit. Spending so much time in front of the television is absurd. It was so excellent. In addition to 2 POC awards, it was nominated for 17 Emmys and 3 Golden Globes. Viewers were captivated by the program despite its departure from Laura Ingalls Wilder's writings. Their favorite part was how it dealt with a wide range of topics, including racism, poverty, religion, alcoholism, and adoption. Surprisingly, several episodes delved even farther into serious issues including animal brutality, child abuse, leukemia, and drug addiction. Stuff fit for television, isn't it? Now here's the catch. Little House on the Prairie nonetheless pulled off several surprising plot points that will make you wonder how it survived all that attention and success. Do you have any idea what they may be? When plot points failed to make logic, the program sparked heated debate. From the upper window, close to the girl's bed, you can sometimes hear the rustling of tree limbs. It's as if a hurricane is raging outside, yet in every other scene, there's a tree. Perhaps some deft editing was used to give the impression that it was windy. In another scene, Mary locks a cabinet, but it seems to be enchantedly open again as soon as the camera pans to Laura. It seemed as if it acted alone. Actress Melissa Gilbert, who portrayed Laura, even made a joke about how these strange blunders may make the home haunted. 2 episodes that use microphones are The Handyman and The Wolves, in which the microphones are either suspended from the ceiling or emerge from behind something. It's obvious that they weren't shooting in a real home, but rather on a set. However, the blooper with Laura's pregnancy is among the funniest. The actress who portrayed Laura, Melissa Gilbert, and a huge admirer, Lennon Parker, found something amusing. For what felt like an eternity, Laura was pregnant. Even when summer rolled around again, she was still expecting, even though she brought it up during a warmer season initially. She felt as if her tummy had frozen in time. The program had its share of shocking moments, the most notable of which was a cameo by Colonel Sanders, the guy behind Kentucky Fried Chicken, in the 8th season episode Wave of the Future. In this scenario, Nellie's restaurant becomes a massive franchise, but she wants out. As a result, Charles and Nellie decide to open a restaurant as a means of supporting her. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, Colonel Sanders approaches Harriet with an offer to start her own chicken company. The worst part is that neither Colonel Sanders nor Kentucky Fried Chicken were born until much later, in 1952 and 1890 respectively. It was originally planned to take place in the 1870s and 1880s, so that's a major miscommunication. And that's not all. In Bless All the Dear Children, another episode set in Minneapolis during the Christmas season, Laura's baby is abducted in the middle of winter. It becomes really chilly in Minneapolis around that time, as anybody who knows the city well will tell you. You won't believe it, however. Coats were not worn by any of the performers. Actress Melissa Gilbert, who portrayed Laura, attributes it to the summertime shooting in Tucson, Arizona. Wow, what a blunder. Someone attempts to force Albert off a speeding train in The Odyssey from Season 5, and things become extremely heated from there. Fortunately, our courageous heroine Laura intervenes at the last second, halting the assailant and successfully disembarking him from the train. You won't believe it, however. Upon closer inspection, it becomes apparent that the dummy thrown from the train falls perfectly flat on the grass, substituting for a real person. The daring stuntman, meanwhile, is rolling down the slope, making the dummy seem quite foolish. You would never guess that he's a boy, Laura. Perhaps that's something he's unaware of. My mistake. Even the most perceptive viewers have picked up on anything peculiar about the quilt that the family uses. Its movement is as if it were a magic carpet. It appears on the Olsons' bed one episode, Charles's parents' bed the next, and the beds of other characters in subsequent episodes. The quilt is mostly white and has a design like a double wedding ring quilt created by little pieces. Perhaps it has some hidden abilities that are unknown to us. The fashion and hairdo choices made by the characters in Little House on the Prairie were amusing, as is typical of many period programs. The clothing and haircuts of several of the characters were out of place in the 1870s and 1880s. A bra, which Caroline wore in a few episodes, wasn't even invented until 1912. Curls and perms were also more prevalent in the 1970s among women than they had been in the 1880s. Melissa Gilbert goes so far as to say that her hair was always seeming out of place since it was so long and trendy. For years, this blooper has baffled viewers. Someone going by the handle Gorosaurus Rex discovered something strange on the show's subreddit page. Despite giving up the ghost in one episode, Albert matured into Walnut Grove's doctor in another. Gilbert playfully offered her own imaginative explanation in an effort to clarify things. She confirmed that Albert did die in the film, but that the movie's whimsical twist had him returning to town as a zombie. He was a zombie doctor who provided medical care to the residents of Walnut Grove. That is a twist in the storyline. During the major Little House conclusion, The Last Farewell, an error is made that is really apparent. Careful viewing reveals that the episode takes place in 1901, more than a decade after the events shown in the last season. As a result, it stands to reason that the majority of the adults should be in their older decades. Tragically, the actual Charles Ingalls died in 1902. In addition, at that point, Carrie, Jenny, Nancy, James, and Cassandra, among others, the children from the last seasons, would have matured into young adults. Ironically, it doesn't seem like any of the cast members have aged much. It's as if they were able to freeze the passage of time and remain eternally youthful. When compared to Laura's narration from the beginning of Season 9, the change is striking. According to her, it's the spring of 1887, 14 years before The Last Farewell. Although it seems like the time has flown by since the series' conclusion, it leaves one scratching their head. The Little House on the Prairie actors got quite close throughout their 9 years of working together. They made each other laugh and played practical jokes. Playing Pa Ingalls, Michael Landon was a major jokester. The actress who portrayed Carrie Ingalls, Rachel Greenbush, has claimed that Landon enjoyed a good practical joke. During their downtime, Greenbush and Melissa Gilbert, who played her on-screen sister, would visit the stream in search of frogs. After that, they would return to the stage incognito and surprise Landon by handing him the frogs. Everyone would be laughing as Landon pretended to put the frogs in his mouth just to let them spring out, surprising everyone. An intriguing turn of events occurred when Jonathan Gilbert's character, Willie Olson, was really Nellie's younger brother on the program. The family of Melissa Gilbert adopted him nonetheless, in actuality. Sadly, things have soured between the two actors. After Little House concluded, they got into an argument. After finishing his degree in finance, Jonathan found a job in New York City as a stockbroker. And Melissa kept performing, even going so far as to serve as Screen Actors Guild president from 2001 to 2005. She was a candidate for senator in 2016, congresswoman for Michigan's 8th congressional district. However, she had to withdraw from the race due to injuries sustained in an accident in 2012. Even when the program ended, Melissa Gilbert's life was far from over. The relationship between her and Michael Landon, who portrayed her on-screen father, was complex. They acted like a genuine dad and daughter on set. At the tender age of 11, Melissa's adoptive father died suddenly, but she was informed that he had a stroke in order to spare her any more anguish. Thus, she saw Michael Landon as a paternal figure when she began portraying Laura. Michael expressed his affection for her like he would a father, and the two grew quite close. They enjoyed each other's company off-camera, but Michael's decision to divorce his wife and have an affair with the show's makeup artist, Cindy Clerico, ruined their relationship. Because Melissa's parents split when she was a small girl, Michael's decision harmed her feelings. She became so furious with him that she severed all communication with him. Both of them were going through a difficult period. Melissa ultimately decided it was time to put the past in the past, even if the two had a strained relationship for a while. Melissa reconciled with Michael after his pancreatic cancer diagnosis. Even after he passed away, she continued to honor him by naming a kid Michael. The show's Laura and Nellie, two characters from rival families, were really great friends in real life, portrayed by Melissa Gilbert and Allison Arngrim. They went on several outings and even had sleepovers together. It's very remarkable. I don't understand how they could be so cruel to one another in real life while playing nice together on TV. The dynamic on site was not always amicable, however. Melissa Gilbert and Melissa Sue Anderson, who portrayed Mary, Laura's elder sister, had a strained relationship. They had a major disagreement off-screen, despite how close they looked on screen. There was a great deal of tension since no one could agree on why they didn't get along. Their unwillingness to make amends persisted even after the program had finished, like a real-life scenario unfolding in the background. In her novel Prairie, Melissa Gilbert revealed her deep-seated animosity for Melissa Sue Anderson, describing her as icy and obstinate. The real cause of their dispute remains unknown, however, as Melissa Sue Anderson never explained her perspective. However, Melissa Gilbert wasn't the only target of the tension. Melissa Sue Anderson was considered hostile by the rest of the cast as well. Melissa Sue Anderson was raised in a secluded environment, which some attribute to her overprotective mother. Perhaps she never mastered the art of being sociable. It's as if the whole tale were a jigsaw puzzle with certain parts missing. Some things happened behind the scenes of Little House on the Prairie that were known only to those involved. Substance abuse and alcoholism were major problems for several members of the cast and crew. The use of drugs and alcohol was regrettably widespread on site. Reportedly, the team would down 2 30-packs a day, and when circumstances were really rough, 3 cases of beer. The book by Melissa Gilbert claims that Michael Landon, who portrayed Pa Ingalls, was also a heavy drinker. He would start his day with a cup of coffee spiked with booze and continue to drink throughout the day. He kept his drinking issue a secret from most of the cast and crew, but ultimately word got out about how bad it was. Another unexpected fact is that Landon was really Jewish, even though his on-screen persona often spoke Christian concepts. Eugene Maurice Orowitz was his actual name. Michael Landon was just a fake name he used while performing. Landon saw no contradiction between his own convictions and his role as a Christian on television. His mother was Catholic and his father was Jewish. He spent his childhood in New Jersey and New York. Landon has said in the past that he didn't have strong religious convictions, but did follow his dad's culture. Though he identified mostly with Jewish culture, he had faith in God. Another little-known fact, Michael Landon's signature wavy hair was artificially dyed. To get the dark tone you saw on TV, he colored his naturally brown hair. To be sure everything was done properly, he went to a professional stylist. The sun and the bright lighting on set made his colored hair seem somewhat purple even as he aged, and his hair became gray. The producers wasted no time in bringing in expert colorists to address the problem. Oh, and you know what? Also false were Nellie's gorgeous locks. Wigs are quite versatile. Actress Allison Arngrim, who portrayed Nellie, had naturally light blonde hair, which was too fine for the role's voluminous curls. The wig she wore on Little House was so tight that it caused her scalp to bleed sometimes, as she revealed in her book. That is the epitome of commitment to the position. Cast members of Little House on the Prairie have reportedly fallen victim to cancer. Pancreatic cancer took the life of Michael Landon in 1991, the year he portrayed Pa. In 1989, Mr. Edwards's, Victor French, fight against lung cancer came to a tragic end. Kevin Hagen, well known by his stage as Doc Baker, battled esophageal cancer from 2004 until his death in 2005. Miss Beadle's co-star, Charlotte Stewart, is the only cast member to have overcome cancer. There is speculation that the proximity of the shooting location to a nuclear power plant is to blame for the high number of illnesses. A person's physical appearance and characteristics will naturally evolve with the passage of time. The makers of the program wanted Melissa Gilbert, who portrayed Laura, to seem youthful, so she had to wear very constricting clothing on a daily basis. What an awkward situation it must have been. Even though it's not uncommon for younger females to play alongside older males nowadays, Melissa Gilbert had it rough in the on-screen romance department on Little House on the Prairie. It was Melissa's first stage kiss when she was 15 years old, and you won't believe what happened after. It was also her very first kiss in real life. In Little House on the Prairie, her character Laura was married to 23-year-old Dean Butler's Almanzo Wilder. Put yourself in Melissa's shoes. She probably felt quite self-conscious about kissing someone so much older than her. Michael Landon went and spoke to the producers after Melissa confided in him about her concerns. Oh, and you know what? What Melissa had to say was heard. A soft peck on the cheek will now replace the televised kiss, they decided. Last but not least, consider this surprising. Recall that the Ingalls family supposedly resided in close proximity to Walnut Grove. The program's creator, Laura Ingalls Wilder, really spent some childhood years there. Her novels served as inspiration for the show. The Minnesota town of Walnut Grove came into being in 1879 after being established in 1874. It is located in Minnesota's Redwood County. As of 2019, the population of this little hamlet was only under 800, and it occupied a mere 1 square mile. Try to picture it. Known for his performance in Bonanza, Landon was more than an actor in Little House on the Prairie. He almost served as the show's conductor. He did double duty as both an actor and director. Being a well-known TV actor made it simpler for him to play the character of Charles Ingalls, the patriarch of the Ingalls family, when the concept for Little House arose. The show wouldn't have been able to come together without Landon. His appearances spanned 8 whole seasons. Believe it or not, he chose to put his acting career on pause in the last season so he could devote himself fully to ensuring the show's amazing production value. A new family moved into the modest home, and Melissa Gilbert's Laura had a larger position as a married lady. It was a major change. Little House, A New Beginning, was even renamed to commemorate the start over. Landon was in charge of 87 episodes out of 204. Another major participant, William F. Claxton, directed 68 episodes, and even co-star Victor French shot 18 of them. Several episodes were also directed by Maury Dexter and Leo Penn. In addition to his directing skills, Landon had a gift for storytelling. He put his own stamp on the series' development as he wrote the plots for both the pilot and the series finale. The actress who performed the role of the naughty Nellie Oleson, Allison Arngrim, revealed Landon's directorial approach. Being a true if-it-ain't-broke-don't-fix-it kind of man, he was all about doing things right the first time and then going ahead if everything was perfect. However, we must not overlook the kindness that Landon shone on set. His co-stars will always remember him, even though he died of pancreatic cancer at the young age of 54. His daughter, Melissa Gilbert, has nothing but good things to say about Dad. She described him as a father figure in an interview she gave in 2015, saying he was there for her whenever she needed assistance and always hammered home the importance of prioritizing loved ones. Whether you're seeing it on TV or not, that type of insight will stick with you. Near the end of Little House on the Prairie, Charles and Caroline Ingalls are faced with a difficult decision in one of the episodes. They go back to Walnut Grove in search of a better life, but the town has been seized by powerful railroad figures. As they prepare to leave their home, the villagers decide to do something drastic. They would sooner blow up their own town than give it over to outside forces. In this dramatic moment, they choose to part ways amicably rather than submit to outside interference. It wasn't simply a figment of the imagination. That jaw-dropping ending truly occurred. After production ended, show creator Michael Landon wanted to get the land back to its natural form. Thus, detonating the set was the obvious solution. A jaw-dropping climax was left for fans, and Walnut Grove was given a spectacular goodbye. Up off-screen, however, there's more drama. A need for vengeance over the show's termination allegedly drove Landon's decision. He reportedly did not want the set to be used for any other productions, according to some whispers. Defending himself, Landon said he was merely acting pragmatically. So, did Michael Landon really want to get even with NBC? I was wrong, it turns out. There was clearly no animosity between Landon and NBC since he continued to work with them even after Little House on the Prairie ended. In fact, he collaborated with the network to produce 3 TV movies that neatly concluded the series. Kent McRae, the show's producer, cleared the air by saying that the reason to blow up the set in the last scene was a realistic way to satisfy their promise to restore the land and structures to their original form after shooting. If you were wondering why the program stopped, Landon had many explanations. He knew it was time to end things as ratings were dropping. The actress who portrayed his daughter, Melissa Gilbert, had grown up, and Landon thought it strange that a married lady would still go to her TV dad for guidance. The actors and crew had grown like family over the years, so it was a difficult parting for them. No matter how hard it was, ending a beloved series like Little House on the Prairie would have been the worst part. Much obliged for your time. Looking forward to seeing you in the post video.